investigation, solving mysteries in the night. Chasing shadows, finding answers, shining bright light. No one's left behind in the darkness, all alone. With a heart like a siren, she brings the lost ones home. Silent cries in the dark no longer have to be. For justice wheels keep turning, granny on the beat. Broken voices find their power, call out hope again. When Granny's crime busters run, no victims left in pain. Bravery in her veins, truth she won't disguise. With a fire in her eyes, she's got nothing to deny. Granny fights for justice, never backs down from the call. For the voiceless and the missing, she'll stand tall.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're all doing well. Ginger Girl, hello. Cindy, good to see you. Welcome in. Chemistry Queen, hello. Valerie, hey there. Tammy, hello. Brian, Rob, hello. Jen, good to see you guys. Good to see you. All right, let's start out with our spotlight on the missing. We have Brian Quintanilla Ricinos, I think that's how you say it. Missing since August 26th, which is yesterday, guys. Fairfax County, Virginia, 17 years old. Brian was last seen wearing a red hoodie. If anybody knows anything where he might be or about his disappearance, please call Fairfax County, Virginia Police Department or 911. We need to bring our children, missing children, home. Enough of this, right? We have Jonathan Wang, 21-year-old, still out there, guys, missing since March 30th. He is high-functioning autistic young man, but presents as an 8 or 9-year-old. His only interaction up until the time that he left was mainly with his immediate family. So he needs to be home. If anybody sees him, just call 911. He does respond to his name. Travis Decker is still out there, guys. I believe someone's going to be doing an interview with the head detective in this case, I think tonight. So I may bring that to you guys tomorrow. Let us know how things are looking with finding this man, this red rummer, right? He's wanted for 3 counts of first-degree red rum and first-degree kidnapping for taking the lives of 3 beautiful little girls seen here with their mother, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia. Let's not forget about our buddy, Sebastian Rogers. I'm going to share a news report that came out. It's only 2 minutes long, but it's about Sebastian, and I thought we'd just share it. Right here. Is it showing up for you guys? There we go. All right.
Today marks a year and a half since 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers disappeared from his Hendersonville home.
And since then, his father says he's had no answers from investigators. Good evening and welcome to News 2 at 5. I'm Bob Mueller.
And I'm Haley Wilkes. News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry shows us what he's doing this week to change that.
I'd like to know where Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is.
He deserves to be at home. He deserves to be around somebody that loves him.
Sebastian Rogers vanished in February 2024. Search efforts stretched across Sumner County, bringing in the TBI, FBI, and multiple local agencies. But after a little over a week, Sumner County Sheriff's Office announced they were scaling back and shifting their focus on the investigative side. Since March of last year, the Sheriff's Office hasn't held a press conference on the case, and Seth Rogers, the father of Sebastian, says his calls to investigators have gone unanswered.
They won't speak to me since I sent them an email telling them about 15 things they needed to check. And if they hadn't done it, then you haven't done your job.
A year and a half later, Seth Rogers says he still has had no answers from the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, and that's why he's out here today, demanding to know an update to his son's case.
While you up there in that office, I hope you're working on finding my son, because I'm waiting.
With a microphone in hand, joined by friends and supporters holding signs reading "Justice for Sebastian," Seth says he won't stop.
I don't get to take my son hunting or fishing. I don't get to play video games with him. I don't get to play cards. I don't get to watch movies. I get nothing while you're up there in your office.
We just want Sumner County to do something different to get different results.
Even retiring Sumner County District Attorney Ray Whitley says he is anxious to see this case solved.
There is more work to be done. Than certainly we want to have answers at some point, and I hope and pray that we do.
But Seth says until that happens, he is not leaving. He plans to stand outside the Sumner County Sheriff's Office every day this week, and for, quote, as long as it takes. He's asking for the community to join him.
Do you expect your children to be safe? Because for the last year and a half, my son isn't, and he's not doing his job to get it done.
News 2 reached out to the Sumner County Sheriff for a statement. He says this is still an active investigation and the department is continuing to follow leads in coordination with the FBI and TBI. If you have any information regarding Sebastian Rogers' whereabouts, you're asked to call the Sumner County Sheriff's Office at 615-451-3838 or the TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. Haley.
So I would add to that, don't call Sumner County Sheriff if you have any tips. Call the FBI. My opinion, and I'm not afraid to say it anymore. Sumner County has done nothing at all. Hi, Joe. Welcome in. We're happy to have you. Kimmer, hello. Osprey, good to see everybody. So yes, and Ray Whitley will be resigning, which is awesome. He's known to be taking bribes and all that kind of stuff, and he's been in office for 40 years, so it's time for his retirement. Yeah. Yes. And the news, I understand that Sumner County is a lead investigative agency, but if I had a credible tip, I wouldn't send it there. I'm just saying I would go directly to the FBI. That's where I would go. Hello, Drippy. Good to see you. So yeah, I wanted to share that because Seth is out there. Starting yesterday, he's going to be out there. He says until it happens. As far as I could see, there was only 2 people out there with him, which breaks my heart. I'm hoping that other people stop by. I know that he's worried it's turning into a cold case. People aren't talking about the case like they used to. And that's really sad. Hello, Trees. Good to see you. It's really, really sad. So, I don't think Seth will allow it to turn into a cold case. He's not going to stop fighting. And neither is At Night and Dog the Bounty Hunter. So, hello, Valerie. Good to see you. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. It's not for lack of trying, for sure. All right. So what I wanted to talk about today, obviously, is our precious little babies, Jack and Lilly, missing since May 2nd. Guys, the more time that goes by in this case, the more I feel like there's a hoax going on. I really do. So many people have gotten themselves involved in this case. I mean, big time, right? Thank you, trees. I thought it looked so comfy. Yeah, it's been chilly here for the last few days. And the leaves are already starting to turn here in Wisconsin. I don't know how it is in Canada, but they're already starting to turn. I thought, well, time for my, the beach doesn't really work anymore. So I thought, well, let's take a look. And guys, as far as Lily and Jack, I know that Daniel has been showing up in chats. I watched it. Here's what I'm going to say. I thought about sharing and talking about those chat messages. But guys, ever since Sebastian's case, I am strongly opposed to people who cut down other creators. It's wrong. And that's something we just don't do here. And so I just can't do it. I just can't do it because it's wrong on so many levels. Whether you agree with another creator or not doesn't matter. We don't belong cutting other creators down. And when I go in to look at some information that was shared and I hear another creator being cut down, I'm sorry. I'm not going to go there. So I'll get my information elsewhere. Leaves are beginning to turn. Yeah, geese are practicing, and it's the last tail end of summer. Yeah, typically, I mean, we'll get another Indian summer again, right? Today it's a little bit warmer, but it's that time of year. It's humid and yucky and hot there in Louisiana. Oh, I'm sorry. It's cool in Ontario. Yeah. Yes. It kind of was a nice relief from the heat, wasn't it? I just have a room air conditioner, and I keep it in my bedroom because I like it to be cool at night. Well, during the day, I'll blow a fan into the room where I sit, and I don't like to have it on all day because of the cost. But this summer I had to a little bit. Woolly socks and hoodie weather is the best. And guys, I want to thank everybody because you all are a part of it. We did reach over 2,000 subscribers, so that's incredible. Give yourself a round of applause because it's incredible. So, hello, Anna. Good to see you. Hello, Claire. Scotland. The weather is definitely cooler today. So you guys got our cooler weather that we had for a few days there. That's awesome. Oh, I'd so love to see Scotland. I really would. Awesome. But yes, thank you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you so much. It's been a long road, but we've built a really great community here, a really safe community where you can all come and feel free to share your thoughts and your opinions without being criticized and harassed, and that is exactly what I wanted. I'd rather be small and have you feel safe and comfortable than to have a lot of drama. So yeah, that'd be kind of hard to fit 2,000 thumbs. That's a tough one to say, but thank you. Yeah, you guys need a lot of rain, don't you? We haven't had rain here for a while either, come to think of it. So, all right. So when we're talking about Jack and Lilly, you know, Nova and I were talking the other night, and she brought up something I guess I never thought about, you know, that could Janie be more involved than what we know? I don't know, guys, right? I don't know. But Deception Detective has put out a new one, so we are going to watch it. I'll share my screen with you. And let's hear what he has to say about it. And the title of his is It's Finally Falling Apart.
As Lilly and Jack's case dragged on, he knew he had to do something to keep their story at the forefront of the news cycle.
I approached Advocate Printing and said that we wanted a deal on making up some election style signs, and we went from there.
Over the last week, his advocacy group has been fulfilling sign orders, with all proceeds going towards search and rescue and funding more awareness materials. Some of the children's family members have ordered signs for their yards as well.
The fact that Lilly and Jack's family is being less proactive than a random neighbor concerns me, but that's nothing compared to the allegations of substance abuse, domestic violence, child neglect, and CPS visits. So in today's video, let's continue unpacking the Globe and Mail's bombshell investigation into the family and counting the red flags. I'm Deception Detective, an attorney trained in statement analysis. This channel exposes lies and manipulation. So if that's your thing, hit subscribe. For exclusive videos, early access to new videos, and other cool perks, consider becoming a channel member. Link in description. If you missed my last two videos, there are linked below because this is actually my third video on the Globe and Mail expose. So there's just one quick thing I want to show you before we dive back in, and it's the rest of that news report, because I think the media is also starting to lose patience with this investigation.
Nearly 4 months ago, Lilly and Jack Sullivan, ages 6 and 4, went missing from their home in Lansdowne Station. In a statement to Global News Thursday, RCMP say intensive investigative work is ongoing in relation to the disappearance of Lilly and Jack Sullivan, and tips continue to be received. We now have over 700 and are evaluated and prioritized by a dedicated team of investigators in the Northeast Nova Major Crime Unit with the assistance of agencies from across Canada.
We've had this in the past on a different disaster, the Westray disaster, and everybody descended on us there, and that's not something we want. But in this case, when two little ones go missing, everybody is really keen on finding those children so they can get them home safe and sound.
Kent Corbett's family has lived in Pictou County for generations. As Lilly and Jack's case dragged on, he knew he had to do something to keep their story at the forefront of the news cycle.
The more people that are thinking about these kids every day will be the greater chance that we have to be able to bring them home.
Lilly and Jack attended Salt Springs Elementary. As the new school year approaches, their school district says, we have school psychologists, counselors, and regional support staff ready to help any students who are finding it challenging to be back on site at the school without the presence of their peers.
When those kids get back in the classroom to their teacher, it's going to be, did anybody find Jack and Lilly? Kids that age aren't going to understand that the adults are doing everything they can. I wouldn't want to be that teacher having to explain that.
But Corbett says the community is still holding on to hope.
They're Pictou County's children now.
So that's the update, and I agree that the case is dragging on, and I even agree that they're Pictou County's children now, because their actual parents don't seem to be doing anything to claim them. Now let's get back into the Globe and Mail expose and pick up where we left off.
Pictou County's children. Pictou County's children. I'll go a little bit further. I think they're Belinda's children because she's the one that's fighting for them, right? So let me see. Oh, thank you, Anna. That's so sweet. I appreciate you. Smoke was really bad there today. Didn't seem to be so bad here, thank goodness. Hello, Brenda Joe. Good to see you. So, all right, but yes, and that man that we saw, that was Kent. He's been in here quite a number of times. So that was Kent. I'm sure you've heard his voice before, but now we get to put a name with a face, right? So, all right, let's continue on because now we're going to get into the meat of what Mr. Yummy says. I'm sorry, but I'm a bit ticked off at Malaya. She does have to talk to the media. She does need to be out pleading for her children to be found. Yeah. Is it true that she does have a boyfriend? I mean, I'm kind of, it's a rumor, something I heard. I don't know if it's true. I mean, I heard it a while back, and then nothing ever seemed to escalate from it or get confirmed. But now it's like, Yeah, well, wait until you hear what he has to say. Let's continue on.
Just like parts 1 and 2, I'm using AI to read out the relevant parts of it to us so we can react in real time.
I never thought they would run off on me like that, she wrote. I'm so distraught. Hours later, and still no sign of the children, Malaya floated the idea that Jack and Lilly were abducted. Many are suspecting they were picked up by somebody, she texted Belinda, 'cause there is no trace of them or Lily's backpack. In the mid-afternoon, a non-encrypted radio channel crackled with voices of emergency responders. Families brought us to a location not far away. There's a piece of a blanket which the mother says she believes belongs to her daughter, radioed an official. Emergency responders dispatched a canine unit to the site, where they seized Lily's pink blanket, torn and wound around the lower branches of a spruce. It was about 1 kilometer from the mobile home. When a police officer asked Daniel about the pink blanket, he said it wasn't Lily's at first.
Lily and Jack's parents contradicted each other about whether or not the pink blanket found in the woods actually belonged to Lily, and that concerns me. Any reasonable person would have understood just how important accuracy is in that sort of situation. If it doesn't belong to Lily and you say it does, you might have just allocated all the police's resources to a red herring. And if it does belong to Lily and you say it doesn't, you might have just cost your kid their best chance of getting discovered within the first 48 hours. So the contradiction, at a minimum, suggests that at least one of them is being flippant with the facts. But at the worst, it might suggest that they're both hoaxers and they didn't have an opportunity to script their answers to this one question because it was unanticipated. Maybe the blanket didn't belong to Lily, but Malaya, being an opportunist, understood how good it would be to say that it was because it would send the police down the wrong path. Meanwhile, Daniel, without an opportunity to script his answer with Malaya, said it wasn't, or vice versa. The blanket actually was Lily's, and Malaya understood that the police could eventually determine that, so she might as well just own up to it now. And Daniel decided to say it wasn't. Whatever the case, the parents of missing children contradicting each other about one of the only pieces of physical evidence that might suggest where their kid is a giant red flag. But believe it or not, it's not even the biggest red flag in this part of the expose. Let's keep listening.
Police began pounding on doors into the early hours of the next morning. They came to the door of Daniel's father, Earl Martell, a retired tire plant worker who lives atop a hill in a bungalow he built himself 40 years ago. Officers peered with flashlights into the corners of his living room, jumbled with the craft supplies and Hot Wheels of Daniel's 2 school-aged biological children who often visit on weekends. Earl guided police into the yard, to old campers and a derelict log cabin filled with junk, and to Daniel's older model black sedan in need of repairs he couldn't afford. Police also banged on the door of the home of the children's paternal grandmother, Belinda, in Middle Muscadobit, about half an hour from Lansdowne. They were looking to talk to her son, who had been living there for the last 9 months after losing his roofing job. But Cody Sullivan hadn't seen Jack and Lilly since he and Malaya separated 3 years ago. He'd cut ties after she filed for full custody of the children. Through the night, search and rescue volunteers combed the woods, and helicopters and drones that can detect body heat scanned overhead. Malia was up too, texting with Belinda. "I have reason to believe they may have been taken by someone," she wrote. "They should have found them by now if they were in the woods." The next morning, Belinda set out to help search for her grandchildren. Over the last 2 years, Malia had distanced herself from Belinda. She stopped bringing the children to visit, later explaining that Daniel was jealous and didn't want her going there or giving out the address. The grandmother said she had never been invited to the house. Wow, she says she thought, as she stepped inside to speak to Malaya. Everything she saw, from the junk-strewn yard to the cluttered kitchen, was the total opposite of the neat and tidy woman she used to know. "What happened?" she asked. Malaya opened the low, rumbling, sliding patio door in the kitchen, demonstrating how she assumed the children quietly left the home while she and Daniel were sleeping. "Well, Malaya," Belinda recalled saying, "you're the mum. You know these kids better than anybody. So where do you feel they'd go? What would take their interest? What direction would they go?" She had no idea.
Let's recap the cast of characters because I think you'll see my point before I even make it. First, we have Daniel, the stepfather, who besides having to take care of Malaya, who's unemployed, has to take care of Jack, Lilly, Meadow, and his 2 biological children. Next, we have Daniel's dad, the step-grandfather, who lives in a bungalow up on a hill near the house where the kids live. Next, we have Belinda Gray, who lives about half an hour away from the house and is Malaya's ex-mother-in-law, and she might have reason to resent Malaya for never inviting her to the house to see her grandkids. And finally, we have Jack and Lily's biological dad, Cody Sullivan, who recently lost his job, had to move back in with his mom half an hour away from where his biological kids, Jack and Lilly, live. So what's my point? Well, that's a lot of potential suspects if the kids were actually kidnapped. But Malaya somehow has been able to rule out all of them. If you saw my analysis of the first part of this article, you'll know that Malaya informed Belinda that the kids were missing. She never asked Belinda if she knew what happened or asked her if Cody was home the night before. She never pointed the finger at Earl or Daniel's mother, who lives on the property with them, or even Daniel, who, if Malaya's story is to be believed, she can't alibi. She was apparently in and out of sleep when the kids disappeared. But there is another reason I paused at this point, and that's because Malaya has been insisting that the kids either wandered off or were kidnapped, but when it finally comes time to say what she thinks happened to them, she has no idea. And that specific answer of a mother of a missing child saying they have no idea is typical of hoaxers, and that's because they don't want to reveal any information. Mothers of missing children typically have thousands of ideas of where the kid might be. In fact, it's the only thing they can think about. Where might they be? But parents like Malaya and Daniel, Casey Anthony, William Turl's foster parents, Jen Soto, Stephen Stearns, Summer Wells' parents, Madeline McCann's parents, Sebastian Rogers' parents, they have no idea. And finally, what do you make of Malaya's story that the glass door was so quiet that it didn't wake her or Daniel up when the kids opened it to sneak out and then closed it behind themselves? Well, I'll play.
He's going to play something for us in a bit here, but I wanted to stop it there to say I didn't like him bunching Belinda in with the list of suspects. He also didn't mention Janie. Okay. So, I mean, how Belinda felt about Malaya, I don't know. That doesn't matter to me. The point is, Belinda is the voice now. So I didn't like that part of it. I will just go on record saying that I did not like that. Daniel is saying, Malaya's living her life and he's not here to bash her. That was his most recent statement. So interesting there. Let me see what I missed here. I heard that before the kids went missing, that Daniel and Malaya were in an open relationship. Both were seeing other people. Well, interesting, but I don't think it has a lot to do with anything as far as the children missing. I guess to each their own. Weird, but I want to think this is a hoax, but I'm wrapping my head to how. With today's technology, it'd be hard to hide 2 children under a mini house arrest. Exactly, especially going on 4 months. A month, maybe even 2, you might be able to get away with it. We're heading, yeah. 4 months now. It's just not, it doesn't seem probable, right? I agree. The blanket was set up to look the other way. I think it was planted along with the footprints, my opinion. Yeah. Kids approximately every 2 years. Yeah, we haven't heard anything that she's pregnant. Guys, I think that if she were, somehow somebody'd be shouting it from the rooftops, right? Their yards are like their lives, chaotic. Good point, Trees. Good point. Daniel said originally it wasn't Lily's blanket, stating he didn't want RCMP to think it was him that planted it, but yet he claims he's innocent. And he was also found to be on the pipeline. So, in his most recent statement, he said he didn't find anything on the pipeline, but that's not the question I want answered. The question I want answered is, what did you put out on the pipeline, Daniel? That's a question I want answered. Hello, Bonnie. Good to see you. Welcome in. Yeah. He's full of it, in my opinion. The RCMP never said there were 2 blankets. And I believe that they said, I'd have to go back and look, but I believe they said a partial piece was found wrapped around the tree branch. Then again, guys, did they wrap each of them in a blanket? I mean, is he leaking information to us by telling us there's 2 blankets? There's a thought for you. Just saying. Oh, yeah, I agree. Belinda had no part in this. But, even Deception Detective is saying Malaya didn't even point to her. She didn't point to any of them because she knew already that none of them had anything to do with it. She knows what happened. I don't think there's a sliding glass door on this planet that's silent. Even the most quiet one is not silent. Oh, people misunderstood. They were transparent with their phones. Gotcha. How big are these pipelines? What do you mean, how big are they? They're full of gas, Tammy, so there's no way and they have sensors on them, so nothing could be put in there. We already talked about that. Exactly. Look here, not over there. My question would be to Daniel, why were you at the pipeline and who were you with at the pipeline? And then just tag on the end there, Rob, if you're ever in a chat where he is, find out for Granny, okay? What did he put at the pipeline? And we know he didn't take anything, but what did he put there? However, as the mother, I would be in Janie and Daniel's faces demanding answers since they were the last to see the kids. So in my opinion, her actions are strange. Well, that's what they say. But do we really know they were the last to see the kids? Yes. Yes, he did. One pink blanket curtain in the bedroom. Could they not afford curtains? I'm just saying. And that was my thought too, Valerie. Especially with the handles that they have on them, those are difficult for little ones to open. Yeah, well, they even went back and checked the pipeline again. After they stopped searching, they went back out to the pipeline. Hello, JDR, and welcome in, Root Strength. I lived in a house that had a sliding glass door, a new house, door far from silent. Absolutely, they give like a whooshing sound, right? It's how, yeah, exactly. It's how they're made. I want to know if Malaya was asked if she saw and heard the kids that morning. She went missing on the Poly. I don't know. Janie was trying to convince the reporter. It's so obvious. Yeah. Allegedly, Daniel took it down and it ripped. Also, if Daniel took it down and it ripped, why did he put the rip part on the tree? Just saying. Yeah, we're going to hear that in just a second here. He's going to show that. Yeah. And they the other point that I was going to bring up, how Dee Dee was saying that Daniel was taking care of Malaya and Meadow and Jack and Lily and his children. I thought, no, he was living off of the money that Malaya got for Jack and Lily, basically. Thank you, Brian. I agree. If you go to the Dollarama, although they were having trouble with food, so buying food, so I don't know. So let's go ahead and listen to the rest of this real quick.
The exact sound it makes when it's open and closed in a moment. But first, just remember that we have other senses besides hearing. Patio door.
Watch Janie's face when the reporter is opening and closing that door.
Can rumble the thin walls in a trailer so that people feel vibrations. The suction of the opening and closing can be felt in the air pressure, not to mention all the sounds of the outdoors when the door is opened, which gets silenced when it gets closed again. All right, let's listen. And this clip is from my video analyzing Janie McKenzie, Daniel's mom, who lives on the property.
We've heard a lot about the patio door.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's go see that.
Sure.
So this is the patio
This is the patio door
that Jack and Lily would have.
that Jack and Lily came out of.
And so tell us why we've heard about the patio door.
Because everybody's saying on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok that the patio door makes a noise, and why they didn't hear the door open. The bedroom is back there. Okay.
That far window.
The last window is the bedroom.
The reason people talk about how much noise that sliding glass door makes is because Malaya Brooks Murray, Lily and Jack's mom, used it as part of her alibi. According to her, it's completely silent, which is why she didn't recognize that her toddlers, Lily and Jack Sullivan, had wandered off outside on their own. So the fact that it does make a noise pokes yet another hole in her story. But her story is already a slice of Swiss cheese, so it's not that interesting. What's more interesting is Janie's reaction. I would have expected a truly innocent person to be at least a little bit suspicious about that. Malaya's entire alibi hinges on whether or not that door makes noise. Come to think of it, I haven't even seen Janie comment on the fact that Malaya doesn't live on that property anymore. Right after the kids went missing, she did one interview and then disappeared. One obvious explanation for why Janie isn't curious or suspicious about any of this is because she actually knows what happened. Whether she was filled in by Malaya and her son Daniel to help in the cover-up, or was involved right from the beginning. But even more telling than the things that Janie seems to deliberately ignore, like the sound we all just heard, are the things she seems to deliberately address. You can watch the rest of that video in my Lily and Jack playlist, which I'll put on the end card. We still have plenty more to break down in this expose, so if you want to do a part 4, let me know by liking, commenting, and sharing. Until next time, stay true.
So guys, I'm going to put the link for this video. Please go like and share so he does another one, because this is the first video that he's done in a week. So we want him to do it. So please go over there and like that video. Yeah, especially in trailers, right? And Dee Dee brought up a really good point. The noise from outside, you know, when the door is opened, right? I mean, so many things on. That's right. She mentioned that she turned on the TV after Lily came in and woke up Meadow. I found that funny too, Trees, where a blanket was actually covering so they couldn't see inside the house. Hello, Sharon. Jack and Lily would have had to stretch to reach the handle of that door than trying to pull him. Yeah, I agree. And it didn't pull easily even for the reporter. So those children, in my opinion, did not leave that door by themselves. I just don't believe that. Yep. Stores are not quiet and they're hard to open. Yep. Turning on the TV, harder to hear the kids. Definitely. Yeah. Janie was like, you better believe me. Yeah. Yeah. Everything about that interview was to take the focus off of her and Daniel and stop all the accusations. But what she didn't realize is it only gave fodder for more talk. It didn't help her at all. Does he still spend money on Pokemon? I don't know. I think he stopped making those videos a while ago, so I don't know if he does or not, right? I agree. And there's some confusion about as to what the dogs actually picked up on. I was under the assumption that they only picked up on the scent at the end of the driveway. Some people assumed that it went from the door to the driveway. I mean, I don't know. It would really be nice if RCMP could, clarify that point. I think that's something that's important to know. But yeah, the reporter had to use a little muscle to open and close it. So how is a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old going to do it, especially at the height that it is for them? When something's higher, you don't have the strength to open it like you need to. Trust me, I've got big windows in this house, and boy, absolutely trees. But they didn't care. They did not care. I mean, come on. If they were worried about the children's well-being, putting a wrench above your front door is not the way to do it. What if they tried to get out the front door and that wrench came down and hit one of them on the head or something? Hello, Bobby. Yeah, no good news. Yes, I agree. And it just reminds me so much of Sebastian's case. No scent around there, even though Mr. Chris Proudfoot likes to think that there is. Even Sumner County says there's no scent picked up. That they did pick up a scent at the retention pond, but it was not Sebastian's scent. But in precaution, they drained the retention pond. What I don't understand is why the man would put the pressure on her, get her to talk. They can't if she pled the fifth. I don't think she lawyered up. I think Janie will talk tonight. Don't know if I have it in me to listen to her. Yeah. You know, even the more that we hear, you know, the more Daniel chats or whatever, I just it I know that some people feel that keep them talking, they'll just, you know, but it gets old after a while, doesn't it? It's like Chris Proudfoot. Nothing good has been accomplished by him running his mouth, except maybe that last phone call that they just dug up. I'm thinking now we know which way the 3 a.m. car went, but little bit of leakage there, I think, but still, it's so frustrating. So frustrating. You know, as much as I want someone to talk, it's difficult. Wrench was supposed to stop the bear. Well, all it's going to do is probably, I don't know, was there carpet there? No, there was. No, didn't they say there was a hole by the front door? So the wrench should fall down the hole. Oh my gosh. A wrench is not going to kill a bear. Probably there for some other reason, other person or people. Yeah, I mean, you could hang up pots and pans in front of the door from the ceiling. Right? I mean, yeah, metal tray against the door, yeah, anything. Evidently, it was because both him and Malaya said that they did do that he did do that. So, I don't know. Yeah, I heard that too, that Natasha person may have worked with Janie. Guys, in my opinion, that family is going real hard to try to take the pressure off themselves, to try to support the narrative that Darren put out. She has no lawyer yet. You want to hear from Malaya? Well, you know, it seemed like in this video that Dee did, he's placing the blame at Malaya's feet, right? And I think that he you know, he's starting to get into talking about Janie, which is why I want him to keep going. You know. Yeah, if a bear come in, but he'll drop in the hole in the floor. Yeah. How long can they keep him though? I mean, I don't know. Hi, Jules. Yeah. The thing that really irritated me about Malaya was when I found out that she actually called the RCMP early morning hours on the 3rd, I believe, to tell them to check with Cody that he took them to New Brunswick. That really irritated me because Cody hadn't had anything at all. They had already talked. They probably asked Malaya that question right from the get-go, like Nova said. And, then she calls them in the middle of the night to tell them, check with Cody. In other words, look there, not here. It's his fault. The only thing he did was provide his DNA. Yeah, but why? He's playing games, in my opinion, Jules. He's playing games. When he's in those chats, he only answers the questions he wants to answer. The tough questions, he doesn't answer. Hi, Kristen. Good to see you. They have not changed your opinion. Mine either, except that I was maybe being a little more lenient to Malaya because I was thinking of DB. Now I still do not believe that she had the kids taken away. But, and put somewhere. I don't believe that at all. I think that something happened with those children. And her and Daniel and Janie were in on it to dispose of them. All three of them know where those children were placed. Yeah. Bears are very intelligent. They really are. Yeah, I know, Valerie. Yeah, he stated though that he did not call the tip line. He never called the tip line. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Don't get me wrong, even when I was a little bit lenient on Malaya, I still believe she had guilty knowledge of what happened, right? But, and then I would really like to know, because I heard it, and I'd really like to know if it's true that she used to put the kids in a room and lock the door. I don't know if that's true. I heard it. I would really like to know. I guess it doesn't matter, but it does make me, if somebody is willing to do that to their children, then what else are they willing to do? What else are they capable of? I agree, Kristen. I really do not want to see either family get medal. I really don't. I, you know, I know it's horrible to say that, but I just really, really don't. Dang. I don't think it'd be in her best interest. Because, if she goes with Logan's family, who's going to see her all the time? She'll probably end up over by Daniel. That's not very safe for them to do, right? Unless she called the RCMP number instead of the tip line. Yeah. Yeah. And quite Daniel and Janie are trying to get the attention off of them. The custody of Meadow is next month. Well, if they're trying to get the attention off of them, maybe they shouldn't be calling into other shows and chatting. I'm just saying, if you want the attention off of you, don't keep chatting it up. He pushed his narrative. That's why he's in chats. He's covering himself. Yeah. Yeah, I think she is too. And so what was it that I watched the other day? Oh, on Jennifer Coffindaffer's show. She had an ex-homicide detective, a retired, not ex, retired homicide detective from Dallas on her show. And she asked him about polygraphs. And one of the things that he said was, as an officer, you learn. If someone is a compulsive liar, don't have them take a polygraph. They'll pass it every time because they believe their lies. And, it's well known in the department, he said, meaning police force, there's just certain people you do not want to take polygraphs. And I found that so interesting. Maybe I'll find that and play that piece for us. The more that Daniel and Janie talks, the more suspicious it sounds to me. Yeah. Well, think about this. Nova, and just as a thought, guys, just as a thought. Nova had a good point to plant the seed, and I'm just simmering with it, right? Because think of Janie's anger and her disdain when she talked about Jack and Lilly. Even the way she said it, when she said, I always heard, Jackie, come on, Jackie, Jackie, come on, Jackie. That was almost too true to, I didn't like the sound of that. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Such disdain in her voice, such anger, even when she's talking normally. And even Durwood, guys, even Durwood said she'd blow a hole through you as look at you. She's nobody to mess with, right? That's where we all here in chat said Janie's got a pew-pew, right? Is she capable of something? Did the kids tick her off that morning? I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, she did. You guys know, I didn't promote that at all, right? Which I don't normally, right? I haven't gotten involved in any of those things. Like they were taking money for blip boards for Sebastian, and then receipts were not to be found. Um, yeah. And so when this came out, I'm like, yeah, I'm not promoting that. I'm sorry, right? People can do what they want, but I wasn't going to promote it here on my channel because I would never want any of my family here to be taken in by that. Now if you're on another channel and you want to take part in that, then fine. That's certainly up to you. But I just will never do that. So yeah. So then when she came out, oof, not good. Even if Malaya has a lawyer, they can have him there when they talk to her. Yeah. Yeah. But then, she's really not going to probably say anything. You always thought both of them. You're talking about Malaya and Daniel. What about Janie? Yeah, and Daniel said never quite a few times in the chat the other night. I thought they did. I don't know. You heard it was Daniel's daughter who accused Malaya of locking them in a room. Whoa. Typically, children don't lie about something like that. Makes a little more sense why Daniel's ex moved to Halifax with her mother and told Daniel he can't see the kids anymore. I don't blame her in the least little bit. I agree. I completely agree with you. Kristen says, in my opinion, they are both psychologically unfit for a child at the present moment, especially with missing children. Yeah, I agree. Especially when we don't know what happened with those two missing children, right? That'd be like what happened in the Emmanuel Haro case, guys. Right? He gets 6 months time served and 48 months of probation for beating his 10-week-old daughter to where she's brain dead, blind, cannot walk, has to be fed through a feeding tube, has a tracheotomy, and has to have that suction constantly so she doesn't choke to death. Right? Even the DA got up in a press conference today and stated that that judge made the absolute worst decision that should never have happened. He said if Zach had been kept in prison, that Emmanuel would be alive, but actually Emmanuel was only 7 months old, so Emmanuel would have never been born if he'd been kept in prison. Yes, Jen, I agree. I hope she goes to a loving home. Think about what that baby's lost. She lost her siblings, right? She lost her mom and dad. Imagine how confused and disoriented that baby is. That's horrible. What do you mean, Kristen? California was way too lenient. They made a big error in judgment. So, in my opinion, the RCMP right now in Jack and Lily's case are coming up smelling like roses compared to what California looks like. Oh, you're talking about them being behind bars? Yeah, but they weren't arrested until they had evidence, guys. They had evidence. They have solid evidence that Emmanuel was red-rummed. And they weren't arrested until they had that evidence. Someone should do an interview on Daniel's ex or his other children without being coached. I don't think so. She has nothing to do with this. And in my opinion, she's done a really good job of keeping her and her children out of this mess. I mean, think about it, right? If it was your sister, say, right, and her children, you wouldn't want them to be in the limelight. I think she's done a really good job of not speaking. What do you mean, Brian? Who's Linda? I don't know. And these are Dee Dee's videos that he has shown. I think that the one on the right where it says this is creepy, that's the one where Jack has black eyes, bruises, gash on his chin, split lip. That's a school picture. That's her school picture. The one on the left, I'm not really sure when those were taken. I agree. I agree. Her anger is incredible. Yes, it is. What lady can barely walk? Gonna take her out back behind the barn there, trees. Is that what you're gonna do? Hello, Belinda. Good to see you. Did Janie run over the children in the driveway? Allegedly, could be a possibility. She wasn't altering the driveway for a swimming pool, that's for sure, right? I mean, those three are in on a cover-up for sure. I just don't know what that cover-up is, huh? Hello, Chelsea. Troodles, hello. I agree, Valerie. There's something with that driveway. That I never thought about them getting run over. That terrific to think of, but I mean, imagine it could happen. It was what Wade said in that recording. Gotcha. Janie covering. Yeah. Sorry, that should have said, yes, it is a door Jack and Lily came out of after she paused before saying that. Yeah. So Belinda, Rob's asking, when you were there, do you know if the dogs picked up any scent on the deck in the yard at all? We were kind of wondering because there's some rumors whether the dogs just picked up at the end of the driveway or if they picked up from the door to the driveway. The scent was only found in the yard. Interesting. Very interesting. Yes, Ginger, can you put my email up? Christian wants to shoot me something. That presser was right on point. Jules says, I've been thinking about Meadow. I hope she gets placed with a good family. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up, but it's difficult. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't blame her, right? I don't blame her at all. She's done a really good job about keeping her and her children out of this, and I think she should just keep it that way. I would like to know why CPS hasn't gone forward with neglect charges. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, they do look Oh, Janie can barely walk. She had like a limp or something. Is who the grandmother? Who are you talking about, Brian? Belinda Gray is the grandmother of Jack and Lily on the dad's side. Janie isn't. Yeah, Janie is not their grandmother. I'm just going to say it that way. Oh, who wants Janie to sing? No, no, no. I think she was covering up tire tracks, guys. Listen, the dogs would have picked up any kind of decomposition scent, okay? So I think she was covering up tire tracks. Oh, okay. Janie's the reason you're filing for guardianship? Awesome. Well, cool. So, Belinda, you don't think that she's involved at all then? So the scent was in the yard, one print by the trailer. Timeline could be 4 p.m. till 6 a.m. Friday morning. Yeah. You mean Belinda? Yes, Brian. Belinda is Jack and Lily's grandma, biological grandmother on the dad's side. Oh, no. Belinda is not the grandmother of Meadow. Janie is. She asked why I didn't take Malaya to court to see my grandkids. I never thought I would have to do that. We were still communicating, and I felt in time she would start bringing them again. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And I mean, of course, that's not going to be your first thought to go there. And with the way that, oh, you think she is involved. Gotcha. With the way that she is, was telling you that Daniel was jealous or whatever and wouldn't even give out the address so you could come and visit. I'm sure that you felt as though you didn't want to cause any discord between them because that was her life. You know, I completely understand why you didn't push. I completely get that. I know maybe others have not understood that, but I completely understand why you didn't. Yes, we are all praying the courts rule in your favor. Go get them. Go get them. I would like to know if they asked Malaya if she saw or heard the kids Friday morning. Well, I mean, she has said she did. She turned on the TV after they woke Meadow on the Polly. Yeah. Right, Trees? Why would any grandparent have to do that? Yeah, those three on the property. I'd like to know, was it Ruggs that made Malaya change? What happened? I don't think anybody will ever know. But it seemed like ever since she moved there and got involved with him, she became a horrible mother. I don't know. Just very strange. Like that was the catalyst to bring everything down. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's the whole different, it's scary in a courtroom. If you've ever testified to anything, I have. When you raise your right hand and you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, I'm telling you, it puts a little bit of fear of God in you. It really does. And you pretty much have to be a psychopath to be able to get on the stand and lie. Yeah. But there's prayer warrior, I get that, and I thought that, so I felt sorry for Malaya in the beginning, thinking, well, I think it sure looked like there was some DV going on, right? But man, I can't. She's manipulated and lied since then, so I have a hard time feeling sorry for her at all. I really do. My attitude about her has changed for that reason. She sure does, Belinda. Yeah, she really does. She has his eyes big time. Yeah, Jekyll and Hyde. They say if one partner uses substances, they will encourage the non-user to use. That way the partner who is a new user is likely to hand over money. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, every baby's beautiful, but Meadow does look like Daniel. And no, he's not beautiful. DV's no excuse. No, it's not. I don't feel sorry for Malaya. I believe if we understand why people do things, we can learn and hopefully stop another child. Oh, yeah, she doesn't belong having any more children. Yeah, I mean, right, Chelsea? In the beginning, because I was a victim of DV a long time ago, right? But so, it takes a while to get over it. She's probably still not over it. But here's the thing, when she continues to lie and manipulate, I mean, to me, it was manipulation for her to call after her initial interview with the police, to call and to say that Cody, that was manipulation, pure and simple, in my opinion. And this old granny, I can't condone that. I can't, no matter how hard I try. It made me look at her completely different. If they got out, they could have got hit by a car. Yeah. No, we won't know. The things that we're finding out, though, about the black eyes and things, open CPS report, it's really sad. Drugs do change people. They only want what they need and nothing else matters. It almost sounds like the kids take the brunt of things. Yeah, she should have. She had the opportunity to leave. That's the other thing. When Wade spoke and he said that they had the U-Haul rented and she called the day before and said, no, I'm not going to leave. That was another thing that made me think, okay, you had your opportunity to protect your kids and get out of there, and you didn't do it. You chose not to leave. Yeah, exactly. How can anyone condone that? We can't. We can't. Yep. Sometimes we can't understand people. We just need to find little Jack and Lily. That's the biggest thing. But here's the thing. With Daniel's knowledge of that area and the waterways, without a confession, I don't know. Oh, I know, Tammy. I know. I agree. That's another good point, Valerie. Neither one of them are going on mainstream media and asking for help to find their child, which speaks volumes. Speaks volumes. The worst advice I was ever given was, if you can't beat them, join them. Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's very true, Chelsea. Very true. The three of them. Yeah. Zero credibility. Yeah. And a couple months ago, I wouldn't have said that about Malaya, but I can't anymore. I agree. I agree. Neither the egg or sperm donor should ever get custody of Meadow. No, I agree with you 100%, or their families. I don't think it would be a good thing. They say Logan's family wants her or whatever. I just think that she'll end up in Daniel's hands. I think that would be the worst thing that could happen to that child. Yeah, exactly, Tammy. Malaya said Lily and Jack never go outside without them. Janie stated she always called Malaya when the kids were out. Yeah. Even her lying that day didn't mean she did anything to her children, just that she was scared of CPS. Now it looks like she's involved. Exactly. Yeah. In the beginning, I did think maybe she was given a script by Janie and Daniel, and was scared of CPS, of losing Meadow. I was thinking something accidental happened with the children, and, you know, now I just feel like they're all three in on it. Yeah. Yeah. Why did she run? She lost Meadow. Oh, I'm going to have to rewind. Okay, Kristen, thank you. They don't want to change. Yeah. I know. I don't know. I, you know, I think we have to pray that Meadow will be placed with somebody loving. Prayer works wonders, guys. You bring up a really good point, JDR. If they were both doing rugs, that's another good point. But hold on. I say that and then I quickly caught myself because wait. There are still good people in Nova Scotia, guys. There are. So we can't say that. Plays Chimu. No, I don't think that they'll allow Meadow to be with Malaya or Daniel. If they did, I'd be really upset. Yeah. Because, and I know they're two different cases, but guys, you never know. It's better to be safe than sorry. Wow, Ginger, you're really going for it. Did you mean we have 39 likes and we need another 47? Is that what you meant? I have a new song for you guys tonight. Yeah. I honestly think, and I could be wrong, but I don't think they had a cough. I think they were kept out because of Lily's black eye. Exactly, Drippy. There is 1 million people in Nova Scotia. These are 3 people. Get them away, get Meadow away from that area, right? And Valerie, that's why I said, whoa, right? No, there are good people in Nova Scotia. I don't know. No, Belinda says there was. Oh, you bring up a good point, Kimmer. If they only found the scent in the yard, you bring up a really good point. The dog would have caught scent in the driveway. Yeah. That's true. No, you're not, Jane Doe. Am I the only one wondering how Malaya is moving on with her life? I know. I know. Up to 46. Okay. All right. Let's get out of the darkness a little bit and get into.
When the clouds rolled in and the rain came down, Granny lit a candle, spun her tails around. She'd hum an old tune, soft and slow, turn the gloom to a golden glow. Oh, Granny's light, it shines so bright, chasing the darkness, making it right. Her laughter's the sun, her love's the flame. With Granny around, no shadow remains. On a winter's night, with the fire low, she'd tell me how seeds need the dark to grow. Her hands like maps of a life well spent, holding the warmth forever she went. She'd say the night can't win, just wait and see. The morning's always waiting, wild and free. Oh, Granny's light, it shines so bright, chasing the darkness, making it right. Her laughter's the sun, her love's the flame. With Granny around, no shadow remains. On a winter's night with the fire low, she'd tell me how seeds need the dark to grow. Her hands like maps of a life well spent, holding the warmth forever she went. She'd say the night can't win, just wait and see. Morning's always waiting, wild and free. Oh, Granny's light, it shines so bright, chasing the darkness, making it right. Her laughter's the sun, her love's the flame. With Granny around, no shadow remains. Now I carry her spark, it's deep in my chest, a guiding star when I face my test. Her voice still whispers, steady and true, don't fear the dark, it's just passing through. Night with the fire low, she'd tell me how seeds need the dark to grow. Her hands like maps of a life well spent, holding the warmth forever she went. She'd say the night can't win, just wait and see. The morning's always waiting, wild and free. My leader spark gets deep in my chest, a guiding star when I face my test. Her voice still whispers, steady and true, don't fear the dark, it's just passing through.
And yes, I love that, Ginger. Belinda, let your granny light keep shining bright. Absolutely, absolutely. And Chelsea, you brought up a really good point about if they were hit by a car, there might not be any blood, right? finding solace. I am a victim of DV, pretty bad DV. So we're not saying that it's easy for a victim of DV to leave. Okay. We're not saying that at all. What we are saying is she had the opportunity, though, with family to leave, and she chose not to go. Yes. And guys, remember, here at Granny's Crime Busters, we are supportive of Belinda and Chelsea, but we're also kind to each other in this chat. So watch your tone, watch what you're saying, because we don't put up with it here. Yeah, exactly. That's the way I took it when you said it that way. And that's true. Sometimes people can be hit by cars and there's no blood. I went to Halifax yesterday and I saw a sign on a very busy intersection. That's awesome. I heard that, was it Nova that said people were out and about around town and they saw all kinds of them. Norbeaster, that's just not true. They are working the case. The case isn't cold. And I think that we just have to be patient. As difficult as it is. I did, Drippy. Like I said, I won't tolerate statements such as that. Hello, hello. Yes, be careful because Ginger will take you out behind the bar. You don't want that. Yeah. I mean, all you have to do is look at what they said. What did they say? Over 7,000 videos. They had over 800 tasks, which each task can turn into more tasks because of leads that come off of that task. It's a lot of work, guys. Eyes on 7,000 videos. I can't even imagine. So all that takes time. Not to mention all the interviews that they did, phone calls that they had to have made. I mean, it's a lot of work. I think there comes a time when you have to let things go, you know. You know, we all know that all law enforcement are not good people. There are some corrupt ones. Ask Seth Rogers, who's out there in front of Sumner County's Sheriff's Department today in protest because they haven't done anything in Sebastian's case. And they haven't, talked with him or, even the tips that Seth has sent in, they haven't done anything about. So we know that. But until everything is said and done, let's continue to have hope. Absolutely, Valerie. Yep. You know me. That stuff doesn't get by me. And there may well be, but here's the thing. This case isn't going away. There's a lot of media attention, and they know that we're not giving up. Here's the thing. They cannot give us information. When all is said and done, guys, if somebody harmed these precious little babies, and I'm going to put up the picture that I love. If somebody harmed these precious little babies, get it to come up for me, then in the end, we all want, I'm sure, conviction. So I would not want law enforcement to do anything that is going to jeopardize the case in the long run. Ever. Ever. And I know kind of how that works because my son-in-law was a detective. So keeping things close to the vest is important in order to get a conviction, guys. Yeah. I agree. The small detachment. And, during the Sebastian Rogers case, one of the things that Ginger and I looked up was how difficult it is on small detachments when missing children go missing or missing person. It takes up all of their resources. They don't have enough resources for all these, because missing persons cases, missing children is gotten out of control, guys, that it leaves them very little time to fight crime. It's unbelievable, and that's everywhere. It's not, in any specific place. So when you have small areas like this, yes, it puts a burden on their resources. And I'm sure that they have made mistakes. Nope, we're not giving up, Linda. I'm so glad they have you, that Jack and Lily have you to fight on their behalf. Right, Jules? I said that about Sebastian, which I don't forget about Sebastian. I talk about him every day, right? You guys know that. But now these two babies are on my heart. I'm not going to forget them either. And how many of us in here feel the exact same way? We're just not going to forget. You felt gaslit by the release? Well, I mean, it was kind of shocking to be sure, but I think some of it was strategic. Guys, they only put a couple of tips, and one was kind of noteworthy, Natasha's tip, right? But you know that they knew it was bogus. Were they trying to say, this is what we're dealing with, guys? Because they have to follow every lead that comes in, guys, no matter how stupid it may be. Were they trying to say, this is what we're dealing with on a daily basis? They're getting idiotic tips when in among maybe wonderful tips, and they've got to follow each one until they can debunk it. Yes, the truth does always come out. That's right. They are taking on a lot of heat and pressure from different angles, media, online. Yes. And that's true. As long as people talk and as long as tips keep coming in, guys, and please do not get me wrong, I am never, ever would I say that people should call in bogus tips so that it keeps the case going. No. But as long as tips keep coming in, the case is not cold. As long as they still have work that they're working on in the case, it's not cold. There's so much more than those documents. They didn't release everything. And even those documents were redacted. They didn't show everything. I think that we all have that. It bothers us to know, that Lilly and Jack were harmed, might have been harmed in any way, shape, or form. I try not to dwell on it because honestly, yeah, got to keep Granny's light going. Got to keep Granny's light going. They would have had to get Natasha's written consent to release her name per the Privacy Act. Why go through that? I think to make a point. Honestly, guys, I think to make a point. Just like I said, I know it doesn't make sense, but I think they did it to make a point. Hi, Rosebuds. I agree. But there's small detachment, like they said. I mean, guys, it's happened over and over and over again. John Bonet, Sebastian. They were walking in and out of Sebastian's house minute one. In fact, when Seth got there, he wasn't even questioned. The police were already there. Wasn't even questioned. He walked right in. So, yeah. And there were all kinds of relatives in there already. So, yeah. I mean, I agree. They should be, every missing persons case should be treated like a crime scene and ruled out if that's the case, right? But it wasn't, and we just need to move on. I wish the RCMP would clarify what the article said. I think it would give the public a better understanding rather than the news outlets. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're... Do we want them to clarify for us, or do we want them working the case, guys? What's more important? To me, working the case is more important. We got some information. You know, we're never going to be happy because they can't give us everything. They can't. So we're never going to be happy with what it is. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I saw them on the video, and it looked like they were very caring, you know. And I've said it before, many police officers have families and children, and some of their kids are the same age as Jack and Lilly. You got to know that it breaks their heart that they're fighting. It was so sad to hear Sebastian's dad today. We can't give up on those babies, but we need patience. Yes. Yes. I've been saying that all along. We need to join our prayers together, guys, to make sure that we get them babies home, right? That they're found. That the people who may have harmed these little ones, or whatever happened, if something nefarious, whatever, right? Because we don't know, right? We just don't. That they're held accountable and a conviction is made. We all have our own thoughts on that. We're all pretty much, I think, on the same page. But it's important because prayer can do wonders. Yeah. I was on the Sebastian case right at the beginning. He's stolen my heart too. And every time I see his dad cry, I cry right along with him. Yeah. This is my favorite picture, and I realize they're younger here, but I can't help it. It's my favorite picture. Yeah. Ginger said, I keep remembering that the search teams and RCMP were already in that area that morning. Yeah, definitely. They were. They were already there. They got there quickly. 12 minutes or something. Those kids wouldn't have gotten far if they had gone in those woods, so. I don't know. I hope people leave her alone. You know, she could have seen two children walking. I mean, it wasn't Jack and Lilly, though. Nope, there's no one else. All those babies have is Belinda and Chelsea. They're their voice. Well, I shouldn't say that, and all of us standing behind Belinda. Missing people, their house, apartment, hospital, or tent should be declared a crime scene immediately. I agree with you 100%. That's what I'm praying for, Trees. I'm literally praying that someone will talk. Daniel can't seem to shut his mouth, so there's that. How far is the U.S. from Nova Scotia? Depends on where in the U.S. you're talking. um, straight up from our East Coast is Nova Scotia, so that's a good point. We should all be on Jack and Lily's side. Maybe they took them across the border prior to contacting the PD. I mean, anything is possible, guys. We don't know what they did. Yeah. I don't know. Do I think it's possible Malaya told Cindy the kids are hidden? Do you think Malaya told her they are no longer here and she's keeping it to herself? I'm not sure, honestly. I guess I don't believe that Malaya told Cindy the kids are hidden because I don't think they are. I don't know what she's told her mom, but her mom's been awfully quiet, so unlike Janie. I agree. To be on Jack and Lily's side, we have to hold all the adults that were on that property on that day accountable for not watching over the children and keeping them safe. And that's Daniel, Malaya, and Janie for certain. If mistakes were made by the RCMP, the time to look at them is after everything is said and done. They'll do an inquiry into that. I don't think that our eyes should be on that. I think our eyes should be on finding these babies and supporting RCMP in what they're doing. Yeah. Yeah, they were very happy. Especially Lily. Look at that little face. I just love her eyes. Oh my gosh. Drown in those little eyes. Honestly, Belinda, I could see me grabbing her and just kissing her little eyelids, her eyes. I just that's the granny in me. Love babies. That's true. The information we've been given, well, and the way that they've talking, right? Doesn't make them look good. Oh, Belinda. Well, we're behind you. 100%, no, 1000% ironclad, Belinda. We're behind you. We are. I don't know how you're doing it. I just hope you feel our love. That's all I can say. I beg to differ, Drippy. I think they do when they need to. All law enforcement does that. They really do. The helicopter search alone was 70 grand. Yeah. Good night, Brian. Have a good night. Tammy, here's what I'm going to say. I don't know if you were here when I talked about it. I think too much emphasis is being placed on the polys. I think people should just throw the results from the polys out. I don't think that those are tools designed to help the detectives. Okay? They're the professionals. And yeah, too much is being made about those polys, in my opinion. If you heard what the prior homicide detective had to say, you'd realize that, some people just should not even be taking polys because they can pass them easily because they are pathological liars. And pathological liars believe their lies. Hence, they pass them. You have Ted Bundy who passed them. The Green River Red Rummer. Anyway, serial killers have passed them. Why? They believe their own lies. So, my opinion, dump the poly. Just don't even give it another thought because they're not permissible in court anyway. So, yeah. You can hear her dog actually barking. Yes, I did hear that. Thank you, Cheryl. Yes. If we all put our prayers together that the truth comes out. And also, Cheryl, Belinda is going for guardianship of Jack and Lilly, so we need to pray for that as well. Yeah, I heard that she did. She took down her social media. Yeah, Belinda, we are all here and holding you up, and we will continue to be Jack and Lily's voices. Absolutely. I hope you feel it. Yep. They have all different kinds of things. Ginger and I heard one today. What was it, Ginger? Something I've never heard of before. Oh, I forget what they call it, but in Emmanuel Haro's case, they sent false prisoners into the prison with both parents. And evidently, Jake Haro told the false prisoner that he red rummed Emmanuel and threw him in the garbage. So, but they call it something, and I can't remember what they call it. They actually have a name for their traps. Just how do you know that Malay was on a med for bipolar? That's just a rumor you heard? Yeah, Daniel pours on the BS and Malay stays quiet. About 4 hours from Nova Scotia to the U.S. border, unless you take ferry, 3.5 hours by ferry. Yeah, that wouldn't have worked. I don't think they would have gotten back in time. Yeah, I'm wondering about that too, the 5-speed car. You've never believed they were hidden? Yeah, I never believed Durwood's story at all. Yeah. Oh my gosh. What surprises me about the Durwood Dan Janey theory about Malay removing the kids due to Daniel's DV, do these people not realize how bad the theories? No, because they're stupid. I'm sorry. I can't help it, guys. They don't realize. I mean, did Janie, when she first came out, not realize that her story contradicted Daniel's? I mean, they stupid. That's all I could say. Also wondered if Justin wasn't pulled into this somehow. Yeah. I want to know why he was crying. They were under a lot of pressure due to another case here of a teen red rum by family, and they never cracked and released info like they did here. Yeah, Green River Killer. Yeah. Um, I mean, they want to be the first one to put out the information. It's no different than creators on YouTube. I mean, mainstream media is the same way. They want to be the first to get that information out there. They don't care if they make us angry. Yes, please don't use people's names in chat, guys. I mean, except when we're talking about like serial killers and stuff, but actual people that well, Jane, even if we hear from mom, I don't know that we should even be calling her that. Even if we hear from Malaya, do you think that she's going to say anything truthful? Because I just don't. Yeah, they called him a fake inmate, but they had Perkins operation. That's what it was called. Why it's called that, I don't know. But they called it a Perkins operation when they put a fake inmate in the same area or cell block or whatever with the person that's trying to get information out of. And Jake confessed, but Rebecca, Emmanuel's mother, stuck to her story about the abduction, even though she was seen on camera, no baby around, no perpetrator around to smack her. Good night, Cheryl. Here they've used the Mr. Big operation quite a bit, too much. Yeah. Yep. I agree. Guardianship, starting there first, is the best idea. Here's the definition. A Perkins operation refers to the practice of placing an undercover law enforcement officer in a jail cell with a suspect to gather information. There you go. It puts Malaya and Daniel on the stand and forces them to answer questions under oath. Like I was talking about earlier, being on that stand, there's something about it, guys. Let's see here. Right. But Drippy, we were just talking about the fact that somebody said our CMP doesn't use tricks or lie to people. All law enforcement do. They even have names for what they do, and that's why we brought up the Perkins op. What if, Jess? I mean, seriously, you know, if they're going to lie, they're going to lie, but it doesn't mean they can't be found out. Yep, they can be held in contempt if they lie, and it's proven. Jane Doe, we're all working together to keep this case from going cold. We're standing behind Belinda. No, we don't know. People could be in the bushes. We have no idea. Exactly, Trees. It's one thing with the poly. In court, it's a whole different ball game with layers. Can the public help? Yes. Yes, the public can help. Pass around their flyers. Put their faces on social media. Because the more that it's out there, the more pressure it places on the RCMP to keep working this case, no matter what. And the more pressure it puts on the perpetrators. You know, a lot of people do that, Chelsea. I don't have a problem with that because I do it myself. You know why I do it? The reason that I do it is because when I go into someone's chat, you know, if I chat, it says Granny's Crime Busters, right? And if my subs are in there, they all want to say hi to me, and that's understandable, right? Not a problem. But I never want to take away from what the creator is doing. And I've actually had it done to me. So I stay in the bushes most of the time. And so, you know, that's why, yeah, I don't have a problem with people who stay in the bushes. If they don't want to chat, they don't want to chat. Some people just don't like it, right? So, guys, please be careful what you're saying, all right? If you okay, going to share my grannyism here for today. Some people are real. Some people are good. Some people are fake. And some people are real good at being fake. Let's be careful here, okay? Because we only want facts. So, yeah, some people are really good at being fake. Just a thought out there, guys. That's my grannyism for today. Some people are really good at that. So, I want to thank you all for being here today. What do I do in the bushes? Wouldn't you like to know, Sharon? So I want to thank everybody, especially Belinda, Chelsea, for being here tonight. Thank you so much. My love and my thoughts sending your way. I hope you feel it. I hope everyone has a wonderful night. Please, please, if you haven't already, hit the like button. And you're very welcome, Chelsea. So have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at granniescrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.